Good evening. Welcome to Cadence Season 1, Episode 11. Well, look, it's our Christmas special, Ken 51, and in the gloom, the packs call me Shredder.
I'm Keith 43, and in the gloom, packs call me Flea.
Frank Schwartz, I'm Fitty, and in the gloom, they call me Dark Helmet.
Respect.
I like the Respectables channel. Thank you for the heads up on that. I kind of like that on Slack occasionally. A little bit of tasty information on there. Well, we're going to start off then with the new favorite, which is cheese or chocolate. So don't think about it too much.
Chocolate. The answer is chocolate.
Cheese or chocolate? It's chocolate.
Yeah, it's chocolate. It's always chocolate.
See you next time on.
That's right.
In Cadence.
In Cadence.
Well, I'll get started then.
Go on.
Okay, first question. Speed or comfort?
Speed or comfort? Speed, always.
Left or right?
Left, because I'm left-handed.
Me too.
Cakes or candies?
Cakes.
Rare or well done?
Psst. Well done may as well be chicken.
Right? Isn't that exactly it?
Yeah, it's garbage.
It's going to be rare or you should have had chicken.
That's right.
Love this, man. This is brilliant.
Beach or forest?
Forest.
Spiders or scorpions?
Blowtorch.
Joker or Batman?
Batman. Come on. He's the only real superhero. The only real one. The rest of them are all fake. They're all like...
I want to raise my hand at this point. That's intense. No, I'm not going to, but I want to.
Look. Superman can see through things, shoot lasers from his eyes, can fly, right? There's nothing super about that. That's like, he's just a I mean, that's fake. That's not even, come on. Batman's the only one that has the grit to get things done.
So which is the Batman that you would have as Batman then? Who's your Batman?
Christian Bale forever.
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's good.
Iron Man is a close second to the greatest superhero alive, but Batman's the only real, true superhero with an origin story that is just, I mean, that's how you get there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a Christian Bale fan. I saw the new one with Pattinson or whatever his name is.
Now,
it was okay.
I will say it took a different turn. I was not expecting to like it. I thought I was going to hate it because I'm not really a big fan of that kid, but they did an excellent job, I thought, with that one. Very dark, very broody. It's good.
You have to kind of take him and say, look, I know you made the Twilight films, but it's okay, because that's the problem, isn't it? You see him as Batman and go,
yeah.
Right. No. Well,
yeah,
anyway.
Like, no.
Anyway, we'll do the next one then. Burger or steak?
Steak. Why would you grind a perfectly good piece of meat? That's crazy talk. And if you're grinding up garbage meat because you're like, oh, well, we don't grind the good meat. Yeah. Well, then why are you eating that? Right? Steak. It's the only correct answer.
There's a lot of steak talk on the Hunt for Wellness podcast, isn't there? They're all talking about going to Costco and carving up a whole joint.
Tell you what, Forge has got some deep pockets. I tell you what, the amount of meat he gets through.
He does do okay. But I think he sacrifices in other places to make sure that he can feed his meat habit.
I was in Costco kind of thinking to see if I could work out that vibe. And in the end, they dragged me out because I was kind of up against the glass of the butcher's looking longingly and drooling down the side of it. And they were like, no, you need to leave, son.
You've got to go, sir.
You need to get out now.
Mice or rats?
It's no difference. They're the same. They're the same. Rats are just big mice, right? So I guess if you got to pick mice because they're easier to stomp.
What about?
Australia's not sure how it feels about that one.
I know in Africa I saw a couple of rats that were nearly the size of rabbits, and
pass.
Yeah, I'd take a little juicy mouse over that any day. What about snakes or sharks?
Sharks are cool, but snakes are a much more predictable creature. So I'll go with snakes.
Okay, hot or cold?
Cold.
Optimus Prime or Megatron?
I think that Megatron reminds me. Now, maybe it was just because that's when it came out when I was a kid, but we always associated Megatron with communism. So Optimus Prime.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Optimus Prime's America, red, white, and blue.
I mean, he's like the epitome of cool, actually. One of the things, I don't know if did you have any Transformers when you were young?
We had every single one.
Okay. And I remember you talking about having an area in the basement where there was marked spaces. So I listened, right? Did you have the Transformers in marked bays? Were they?
So they actually, the boxes that they were stored in had their own spot, but there were like cases that you had to put them in to put them on the shelves before you put them on the shelves.
Now, you talked a while ago about us not being able to come and take back the fair land of America because of our lack of weaponry.
Well, that's not the only reason, but that's one of them.
No, that's fine. And I did say we're dangerous by sarcasm predominantly nowadays.
Yes, very fair.
In the Transformer world, I don't know if you know, but you couldn't buy Megatron in the UK.
Really?
Because he was a gun.
Go, because he was a gun?
That's how serious.
That is ridiculous.
Right? So I had Optimus Prime. I had loads of them.
I would never have thought about it.
You had to import a Megatron because he turned. And we had James Bond, who's got the Walther.
Right?
But no, you couldn't get a Megatron.
Well, because communism. They were like, we don't want a communist gun. Although I think he turned into like I don't remember, we turned into like a 1911 or something. Probably a very American firearm. Who knows? But now I have to look.
I don't think the Second Amendment quite goes the right to bear arms plus a Megatron Transformer. It is not quite worded like that, is it?
I still think it could be about these, the bear. Look, just if anybody's watching, this is because it's a Christmas episode, and I'm Bruce Willis. That's why I haven't just not
Die Hard. That makes sense now. Yes,
my best effort. Good. Well, that's cheese or chocolate done for now, and with a bit of remix. That's good.
Okay, Megatron turns into a Walther P-38.
I knew it was a Walther.
So you would think, it's James Bond's gun, basically. So you'd think that they'd let that go, but
we weren't
there's no accounting for it.
Have you still got your Transformer toys in boxes?
Oh, I wish I did, but no. No, sadly, all the G.I. Joe, the Transformers, all the Star Wars, like all the original old Star Wars, they were all lost in one of many moves from my parents, I think. So they somehow disappeared. I know my little brother took, because he had a bunch of sons. So he took a bunch of them, and I have no idea if they fared well or not. I imagine not, but
it's the way. I gave my brother my first Lego collection. And then when we were talking about having kids, I was like, can I have it back? And he went, I sold it on eBay. And I'm like, yeah, run. Just start running now.
That's what I imagine my brother put himself through medical school with. That's what I like to think. Yes. At least it went to a good cause.
There's a great party coming up this weekend. Yeah, I've still got that He-Man action figure, the one with the chest that rotates.
Yeah.
I'll sell Frank's action figure. Would be
Battle
fun.
Scar He-Man. That's right. And he was like,
there
sorry.
You go.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Flea. There's kind of an old thing going on, isn't there?
Right. No, I had all the Transformer toys.
Did you? Okay,
I had the Transformers. Yeah. I caught the back end of it, but I still had some.
Of course.
And I've got boxes full of Lego upstairs still, so I'm pretty good.
All my Lego's out, as you've seen, Flea. You've seen some of the pictures. There's a lot of Lego going on in this house.
It's an acceptable toy for a 50-year-old man. Some of them are not acceptable, but Legos are very acceptable.
It's really good for your fine motor skills,
If that helps you.
Let's go with that. Right. Well, look, we've got you're a brilliant guest to have here. So, Flea, do you want to get us into the meat, not the mince?
I will do. Seamlessly going from the red, white, and blue on Optimus Prime in being in the American flag. It's also in the British flag as well.
Very true.
So linking the UK to the US. When we're talking about F3, from what you've seen in the UK, which best practices from the US growth that you've seen over the years that you've been involved with F3 would you give as advice to the UK to accelerate the mission of reaching more men?
That's a good question. It's funny, but I think you guys kind of already have it, right? I mean, I think the best advice that you can give any man who wants to start an F3 to grow it or any of that kind of stuff, right, is relentless focus on the mission, right? It is undying love for the men that he serves. And as we were talking right before we began recording, you got to kind of ignore the haters. There's going to be plenty of people who think you're doing it wrong or think you're doing it better or they're smarter than you or you're an idiot or who knows what, any number of things that they'll come up with as to why you're doing it wrong or why it won't work when you do, whatever. Right. Ignore those guys. Love the man next to you more than you love yourself, and maintain a relentless focus on the mission. Right. And I think that's pretty much it. And then the nice thing is you guys get to come in now and really we see this all over, right? People who are starting or are growing in the last like 2, 3, 4 years, benefit in a way because we've already screwed up a lot of stuff. Right. We've already made a huge number of mistakes. And so you don't have to worry about remaking all of our mistakes. You can kind of skip past a lot of stuff. So my hope is that that the UK will continue to apply the principles as they are, as they are. You're making hard workouts. I mean, you were just telling me how you're going to put Huckleberry through the ringer. Although he did tell me to give you a little bit of crap because he said, how in the world can they have the Hoff being mentioned in the same sentence as Chuck Norris? And I said, that's a very fair point. That's not.
He came at me on that.
It should not be. That should not be. The Hoff is not even real. Chuck Norris will beat you to death. I mean, like, what is it? When Chuck Norris shaves, you know what's under his beard? Another fist. That's what's under there. You know that? There's so many Chuck Norris jokes. But yeah, when you're going to put a hard workout on, right? You're going to test men. You're going to push them. And then you're going to help them understand that part of the purpose of you being there is to love them enough not to leave them where you found them, because that's just not acceptable. Anybody who was told their whole life that they're good enough just the way they are, hey, I got it. If you want to live in your mom's basement, for the rest of your life, you will remain in that same spot. Oh, honey, you're good enough just like you are. Got it. Live down there and play video games because that's all you're going to amount to, right? Otherwise, understand that you are not good enough the way that you are. And you will never be good enough the way that you are. If you're content with the status quo, then really you're backsliding. You're going the opposite direction. So the only way to be content is by continuing to improve yourself in tiny increments or major ones. Every once in a while you make a big jump, but generally speaking, it's tiny increments every single day, right? Maintain the discipline, push a little harder, love a little more, that kind of thing. So you guys are going to do it. I mean, it's already happening. I mean, the UK is exploding over there, isn't it?
Growing.
It is.
I mean, every time I turn around, I hear, you said it just as we're getting started. We're never going to finish the season because we can't, because we just keep branching off new AOs all the time, right? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. 18 men makes an AO, 18 AOs makes a region, 18 regions makes an area, 18 areas makes a sector. Pretty soon, Shredder, president of the UK, of F3 UK. Pretty soon, that's what we got, right?
I just want to be president of me some days. That would be.
Well, it's okay. You got a solid vice president here in Flea, so he'll keep you on the tracks.
We can come back to something you were saying there in terms of this love and these increments. One of the things in my first 13 months now is I'm far from a perfect dad, but I've noticed how much the little things that are coming into my consciousness are impacting the way my son talks, and even the way my daughter at the age of 5 talks. And she says to me, I said to her the other day, we had another F&G. And she said, another one. This is great. We need all these F&Gs. We need these men showing up. And I'm listening to an 11-year-old to begin to grasp some of the values of things I didn't have and lots of us didn't have. It warms my heart because that image of the standing on the shoulders, the Isaac Newton one, is one that's kind of been in my head for years anyway. And even again this week when you guys mentioned that on the Whetstone, I just think if I can help him and I can help other men, one of our guys, 35, Steak, was talking to my son in the shop the other day, and he said to me, I want to be as strong as your dad one day. And I was like, you're only a month in. And
first of all, I hope you looked him right in the face and said, not going to happen, but maybe you'll get close.
Well, I mean, when I got married, my wedding speech said I was looking forward to 3 things. I was looking forward to Nanny's chicken and 6-foot Franklin, because I'm only a 5'9" and I'm like the tallest man in my family, pretty much. So, and he's 11 and he's like here.
Well, that's good.
My wife's granddad was 6'7", so
I was pleasantly surprised when I met Flea in person for the first time. He's
tall,
quite
right?
Tall, yeah. I thought everyone in Britain was tiny.
No.
I'm just kidding.
We've got
Just
some,
kidding. I didn't really think that.
most of us we're just built for the minds, you know. No, he's tall. I mean,
Yeah.
he wound me up recently because they planned and they came to the book and I didn't even know he was coming. And not only did I know he was tall, but in the most brotherly way possible, I said to him, "You have such good eyes. You're such a good-looking man." I can't wait to get my own back on him.
It's a curse we live with every day. Pretty happened, and here we are. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just the way
I'm not quite the same hair game as you yet, Doc, but it's under there. It's under there.
This is entirely overrated. Everyone else gets a bigger kick out of this than I don't know.
You were talking about all this hair care stuff, and it takes a lot of time, you know. So this is why I like to keep mine short and mostly under a hat.
I do have a question. Actually about your hair. What's it look like after a BD? Is it exactly the same?
Ask anybody. I wake up like this. I go to bed like this. I work out like this. It's my superior genetics, Flea. I can't help it. It's just way. There is a guy in Jacksonville, bada bing, Chris Gambino. If you feel so inclined, look him up on Slack. He'll show you a picture of me riding an exercise bike at a fitness festival, and my hair was not at all cooperating. The wind was blowing. It was very bad. It's very, very bad. You'll have to ask him.
I'm going to hunt that photograph down and hopefully get it on the podcast.
Writing notes here.
It's a video. It's a video. It's really
video.
Bad.
Okay, even
it's really
we can
bad.
do that.
Yeah.
F3 hair care as well as
yes, exactly.
F3 socks. Life's too short to have crappy hair.
I like where your head's at there. It's good.
Good. Right. Well, I'm going to jump on to question 2.
Yes.
Question 2. Yeah. I mean, you're understanding what's going on here and you're looking at us. So how would you compare the culture of F3 in the UK to what you recognize as the culture in the USA?
It's super interesting to me because I would say, based on what I've seen, obviously I'm not over there, although I have sent Huckleberry to come next week. He's doing an audit. I'll be prepared for notes. You'll have to change something. No, none of that. I'll tell you about that in a second. But no, I'd say the culture, what's interesting about F3 culture is that it truly takes on the flavor of wherever you are. Right. So the culture in the Midwest is really quite different in a lot of ways than it is from us in the East. Right. But 5 core principles, mission, credo are as clear as can be, right? And the workout generally follows the same basic kind of format. It doesn't have to. Some places follow a little more closely than others. Some get a little too into it, and they get a little rigid about it. F3 is not a rigid organization, and nor should it be. If you're as the Nantan or whomever, if you're out there just trying to figure out how to enforce a bunch of rules or practices or things like that, do me a favor. Step down and let somebody else with some vision get in there. Because if that's all you're for, then you're a manager. I don't need a manager out there, right? Managers don't capture men's hearts. Managers don't unlock men's minds. Managers don't save men, right? Leaders do, right? Leaders do. Nantans will do that. Cultural and spiritual leaders will save men. They will help men. But managers, I don't need managers. So if you're just out there to manage a bunch of rules or a bunch of structure or things like that, then do us all a favor and get out of the way, because the leaders are coming, and I don't want you to get hurt when you eventually get run over. So I think the culture here, the culture there, the culture across the world, it follows much the same, because I think that the hearts of men are generally the same, right? Generally. Now there's got to be obviously some differences, in the local customs or things like that, right? And you probably have some different words for some things, just like you do in our regular language, right? Bonnets and boots and, whatever else, right? Lifts and things like that, right? So you may have a few different names for exercises or practices or, whatever. But generally speaking, if I was a betting man, Shredder, I'm going to guess that you probably start with a little warm up. You get after it pretty hard. And then afterward, you love on each other a little bit, right? And you share what's on your hearts. And you try and figure out, how do we become better men? How do I love my wife more? How do I make my country better? How do I make my community better? How do I love my kids more, right? How do I be a man? So the culture to me, probably almost identical in most ways, right? In the ways that matter, the fact that you don't know who Bonnie Blue is, that's not important, right? So if you name a guy that doesn't mean anything. I'm just kidding. You have any idea who that is? You know that one?
I don't know who that is.
Good. See,
I thought they were the
so.
jump-in lunches that we do. Are they
That's Bonnie Blair's. That's Bonnie Blair's. That's different.
Bonnie Blues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just picking something I thought was uniquely American and horrifying.
There's definitely some of those terms that sometimes you hear something and you go, there's a what now?
Because so much of it's based on pop culture, right? And so some of our idiot pop culture that we have, is how it got named by Dredd and those guys early on. And
For real, though?
Well, yeah. Yeah, a lot of it's just after like TV shows, movies, crap like that like it's funny because half the time the young guys that come in that are like under 30, they have no concept. They're like, why do you call it that? Well, back in 1995, there was a television show, see, and the main character, like you have to go through a whole thing, whatever, right?
So you guys have got an educated shared language too, and common experience. So largely. Sometimes again, largely, yeah. I mean, through whetstoning, through just communicating and through caring about what the organization is, sometimes like I can go and I can sometimes Google, you'll talk about a weatherman, like this guy's a Cronkite or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know that one. But then you'll say other things, and some of that comes out of education and even philosophy, deep names for stuff. And I'm going, holy smokes, who's that? And then I have to go away and go and
but see, you'll do the same thing, right? Who you'll who was the third man in King George's court or something? I don't know. You'll name a guy that. There'll be some story behind it. You'll start naming guys, Thomas Aquinas or something. I don't know. Right?
Yes. No, I mean, yeah, you're right. And you guys, I like that though, because you're always talking about trying to learn and you're always trying to pick up different things. And like I've been chatting, it made me laugh a couple of months ago. Dredd introed Netherlands, or you introed Netherlands. I can't remember which now.
Wasn't me, but somebody did.
I'm pretty sure it was, I think Dredd did. And I've been chatting to them.
Have you?
Yeah. I've been chatting to them. And again, I'm kind of pimping for season 2. I'm like, once we've done season 1, then we can start looking at you guys for more guests. We can look at Europe for more guests. Both Flea and I have been involved with one of our young lads in Bilbao in Spain, who's gone over there. He's doing a year in uni in Spanish, and he was a pack from the neighboring region to us. And the first time I met him, sometimes if you see someone in their 20s and they just look like a tank, and you just think, I don't want to Dora with him because he's gonna just destroy me, right? And I was with him and an American guy called Fury, and it was a BD I did, and it was different stations, and the two of us were just dying on our feet with Goblin, this lad.
Yeah, this little kid he's just killing it,
right? And now he's, you saw him, didn't you? 2 weeks ago, and you went over and queued for him.
I did, yeah. Took the opportunity to give him a rest from his relentless queuing that he's been doing while he's getting the other guys ready for his PQs. So I said, I'm in town for work. I'll do one for you, and you sit back and be a PAX again for a change. So he's machine. Just
how far away is
engine on him? Spain. It's about a 2-hour flight from the UK to London.
So not terrible. Okay. But, not terrible. Not walkable.
No.
Certainly not workable.
Well, anything's walkable
easily.
if you believe in yourself.
Not easily. Right? Yeah.
The thing is, my times in America, I had friends who'd say, we drive 90 minutes for a steak. And I get that. Maybe gas was cheaper in the 90s, but it was cheaper in the 90s, eh?
Definitely.
But yeah, so I mean, the proximity with Europe is in our heads. Sometimes it's much, but it's very little when you can hop over there. But anyway, he's going for it. The guys in the Netherlands, they're going for it, and get a chance to talk to them and encourage them, and it's just so wonderful. It is so exciting to be part of all of this. And that really
is something that's a culture thing that I think you guys will benefit from greatly as well. And it's one of the things that when I got started 11 years ago, that was like a big boost, and it really helped me catch the vision too of what we're trying to do. And that is, you're going to launch a lot of places, right? Places we go now largely are starfishing off of places that already exist, right? And so there's not a whole lot of like uncharted territory left. There's still a fair amount, here in the US as well. Right. But generally speaking, even the uncharted territory in the US, like guys will have heard of it, or it's a guy going down range, or, something like that. Right. You guys have an opportunity to really truly carve out the fairway there. I mean, just like really, cut some path. It's kind of cool. It's pretty exciting stuff. And the more packs you can take on that kind of a journey with you, I mean, when you go downrange, I tell you what, there's a guy named C-SPAN. I don't know if you know C-SPAN, but if you've heard that name, he's a redwood. He's a yeoman, as Dred and I used to say. He's a yeoman in F3. Been around a long time. He actually started the whole idea of doing F3 podcasts. He was the original Nantan when I joined in our region, and not of the whole country or the whole nation, but of our local region. And I mean, just a solid dude. I mean, one of the best. And he had this habit of throwing me in the back of his car, right? And driving, we'd drive an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was, and we'd help some new place launch. Now, I didn't have any idea what F3 was hardly back then. I just thought, this is just what we do. We drive down and we show these guys, I just thought that was the normal thing. I didn't know like that was anything special, but there was something really exciting and invigorating about going and seeing guys who had never heard of this before, never seen it, had no idea kind of what it was, to show them how to do this, teach them a little bit about F3, a little bit about how to lead a workout, things like that, and have them at the other end of that 45 minutes or an hour, look at themselves and go, hey, I really accomplished something. Like, I haven't felt like this in a long time. Like, I don't get an opportunity like this at my job. I don't get an opportunity like this at my house or in my community or in my church. There's not these new things that I get to learn and be physical and all that kind of stuff. Like, it speaks to the heart of a man. It really does. So I'm excited for you guys to go and to spread it into, to help finish spreading it in Spain and to revitalize Germany. And, I don't know if the Finns can ever, I mean, who knows, those people, but
The Finns will love it. You should do. You've definitely got to do Finland, Fleet. I mean, with work going out there.
Come on, it's there. It's on a plate. And some discussions ongoing. It's just
I love it.
But you need that proximity. You need that proximity,
Yeah.
and you need that person, those people on the ground. One, maybe two people to take it on. I can support. I can guide. I can coach from a distance, but they need to be there.
Yeah.
It's very true.
But
very, very true.
That's one of the things I've said to Goblin, which is I like how scary and unknown it is. Him being in Spain for a year, and just this week on Instagram, there was a picture of them, 8 of them. So there's 8 packs there, and next September, none of those guys will be in Spain. So Goblin will be back in the UK. One could be in France, one could be in Russia, one could be in Hungary. And that's what I've said to him. And, I think he's got this kind of view. He's leading men, and between them, they could be part of changing a continent. And you know what? That's something to say when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
I helped shape men who went back all over Europe, and they went, you know what? We're missing something as men. There's more for us. Let's discover it. It's exciting.
Because if you're listening to this and you're not getting excited by listening to that, I can't help you. Like, your heart has got to be beating a little bit faster to think about that.
It doesn't matter where the defib is. If you don't get excited by that, you're basically dead inside.
That's right.
Because that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
We pass it on.
Yeah. Leaders create leaders.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very good. But yeah, I'm fascinated by that in that sense of how bits of the culture where you are form and shape how you do it. And I bet because you've got so many, we can't look at it now, but you've got so many areas in America, having traveled, because I traveled most of America on a Greyhound, and that was an exciting trip, but so many parts. And there must be ways in which flavor comes out in different regions. Love to hear more about that another time. Anyway, we should keep going.
We should. So next question then. So you've already alluded and you've already teased that Huckleberry is going to be visiting the UK in next week. So for those who don't know Huckleberry, who may not have seen Circle of Trust podcast, then Huckleberry is the nation's Q of culture. So on the SLT for the nation, and helping to understand and shape how we do things within F3, not just in the US, but globally as well. So we're hoping to give Huck a preview of what we're doing in the UK and how we do things on the ground, and how I'd be interested to see how we cope with the beasting in the Yorkshire. So I'll be delivering.
I hope you put a hurt on him. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I just haven't put a hurt on. Hey, I tell you, that's kind of an interesting thing too. That so I was the nation's first ever Q of culture. Dredd was like, "Hey, guess what? We need this, and you're going to do it." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know any better, right? I should have said no, I guess. But it was a super interesting thing to think about, the idea of having someone that's what they pay attention to, right? That's what they're looking at. That's what they're worried about. And for a long time, I kind of did it. We sort of had it, after I was done with it, kind of had a little bit, but then it went away for a little bit and we brought it back because there's got to be somebody who's focused on just that, right? Who's paying attention, who kind of helps the reverse flow incubator run, to a degree, right? So they can travel out, see what's happening, take the good things from the culture, maybe infuse some things that'll be more beneficial wherever they go. And then, kind of keep that information flow, moving. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he comes back with. Hopefully he can teach a few things as well. But we want to learn, man. We want to learn what's happening out there in the Wild West, and that's part of the reason that I picked Huckleberry to do it. Right? Is we had some guys and they were really, really good at what they did, and it was a little buttoned up, but we needed kind of a little bit of a wild man. So we had to unleash a little bit of a wild man on our culture. So Huck's a little out there, and he's my kind of nuts. Yeah, I like him. So yeah.
I have a question actually. When he's coming up to you in the north in Yorkshire, are you going to do Cindy's with him, or are you?
I hadn't planned it, but it's still open.
I just think we should.
I was thinking sandbags, to be honest, but
sandbags.
Don't tell him that.
I just think, I teased a couple of packs over there, and when we were doing the iron packs this year, was definitely, that was 11 for me. My goodness,
it was a special kind of stupid,
right? And I was in the park on my own because I wasn't sure if it was suitable for our AO, so I was like, I'll test run it here. And I'm in the park doing this, trying not to be sick or die, And halfway through, I realized, obviously, with some of the exercises, because your cinder blocks have got holes in them, they're a different kettle of fish to our ones, because our ones are solid.
All the way through?
Yeah, there's no handle in the middle.
Are they similar sized?
They're not. Yours are, because of the hole, they're
bigger,
slightly wider. But I mean,
yours are heavier.
The standard is 20 kilos, so that's 44 pounds, and the light one is 16.
That's heavier.
But there is he was on the High Impact Man podcast, the guy who is the Cindy King, who actually said cinder blocks are not made from cinders anymore, and they're made from composite things. But I just wonder if you're going to give him some Cindy action, show him the solid block.
He definitely should at least see it. Because that's a little piece of culture to take back.
I've got a couple of. I'm having to do the imperial to metric conversion in my head now at the moment. So I've got a couple of 45-pound sandbags and a very nice 70-pound sandbag that is in the trunk, the boot of my car.
Trunk.
So
the trunk.
They might make a cameo appearance.
Well, I was trying to. We've got a Queen group helmet that we're both in, just to try and look at doing a bit of deficit, just to work to get down some pounds off. And today at the Father Fitness workout, I'm gonna get into trouble for this. We were in groups of 4, and 3 of us were reindeers, and we had to carry Father Christmas about 350 yards.
That's a healthy distance.
4 runs of that, and I was very unhappy with my Father Christmas because I was piggybacking him
because he was 2 stone. Is that what?
Right. So I was piggybacking him, and after complimenting him for having strong thighs, I said to him,
"Wow,"
because he was gripping me well tight. I said, "You're a bit heavy, mate," and he said, "Thanks. How much do you think I weigh?" And I said, 94 kilos or something, and he said, "Almost." I think he said he was 95. Which is what, about 210 or something like that.
Let's see.
Something like that.
I'm gonna tell you exactly because
it was it was extra. But then one of our guys who's 57, he fireman's lifted him, and I was impressed by that. I was like, but we did something like nearly 1,300 yards carrying Chunky Santa. I love him dearly, Santa. But Fat Santa, honestly,
that's good.
Well, no, it was good. Okay.
I'm always sorry for the guy. I'm always sorry for the guy who gets me and the piggybacks because I'm 240 pounds. So,
but you're like 6'5".
Yeah, I know, but it's still mass, though, isn't it? For someone else to carry,
it's big.
It's a fair chunk. So.
Your deficit's working. You're doing good.
I'm
diminishing.
14 pounds off in the last 5 weeks, something like that. So it's just consistent, just
Gently.
That's
steady.
really good.
Yeah, just
gently.
Yeah.
You'll get there, and I'll get there too. I'm going to get my last bit off. It's going to be good. Okay, then. Obviously, with Hook coming, which is good, and hopefully we'll pass muster.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Otherwise, he's going to shut you down. Just know that, right?
I know.
He's going to revoke your charter that you're not paying for and shut you down. That's what's going to happen.
I'm staying, and I'm going to whip you guys into shape.
He's going to tear that Brook flag off the wall behind you and burn it in effigy.
Oh, he'd have to burn all my bricks and the Cindy's. They've all got beaver logos on them because the Brook had beavers in it before a long time ago, before King Henry VIII.
Yeah, I don't know if that translates, but we're going to leave.
No, it literally is the animal.
Oh, okay.
So let's just.
It was a brothel before he got here. There were beavers everywhere.
It's very thin. It's a thin line. No, I will say that when the packs all say up the beaver, everybody does giggle. But we're all boys.
I was going to say, isn't it fantastic? Here we are, middle-aged men, and where else in the world is it acceptable, right, for us to act like a bunch of teenagers? It's not. It's not.
That's part of what we need.
That's the beauty of it,
isn't it?
It's the beauty of it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the part of what we need. Like today, in the Father Fitness workout, our Q was doing a great workout. Then he dropped in this thing. He said, when somebody says Christmas tree, everybody's got to do a burpee. Well, I've got to do 50 a day because I'm still doing my 50 a day for the year.
That's a lot.
I said Christmas tree, and then I think I'm on 18,400 for the year now. I said Christmas tree at least 15 times. Everybody's kept saying Christmas tree. This poor Q couldn't even finish an exercise.
See, that's the problem with rules, Flea. As soon as you make a rule, then you got to start enforcing it. Now you're in a whole lot of hurt. Yeah, no rules.
How much fun is that, though, for men to be like messing about, doing Merkians, doing lunges?
The dumber, the better.
It just makes us good. Well, look, when you get here, let's get to this question.
Yeah, next summer.
What's your first F plan going to be? What do you kind of want to do when you come
My first F plan?
Visit us? Yeah.
Well, the first thing I will do, I'll probably be there for 4 days. And the first thing I'll do is try and survive a flea beatdown with proper Cindy work and all that kind of stuff. Then I'll probably move from there and go straight up Shredder's Beaver. And then I'll probably... No, my plan would be to participate, man. My plan will be to come and to observe and to encourage and all that kind of stuff. Now, if I was asked to queue, then that would probably be a little bit of a different thing. But if I were to lead the workout, I have a tendency, especially when I'm downrange, I have a tendency to try and teach while I queue, right? I really, really, really want guys to understand, what it is that they're here for real, and to make sure that they're doing the things correctly, because that's how we keep the culture, more, intact, right? So yeah, it'd probably be a little bit of education, a little bit of, a little bit of history, and a lot of burpees.
Well, as long as you run on the left, you'll be fine.
Ah, good call. I'll have to remember that.
You have told Hook we drive on the other side of the road, haven't you?
No chance. I want to see what happens.
Okay, fine.
Collision
learning, the epitome,
Literally.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, we see you guys sometimes on F3 Nation on road trips, so
yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's best if I do get to meet him, I say, look, I'll come and pick you up rather than telling him I'm meeting somewhere.
Yeah. Don't you have those like Waymos or something? Like Elon Musk can drive them around, right?
Self-driving cars. Yeah, we don't. They're not legalized yet here. No, they haven't passed the safety certification for the UK. So
that's a good point. I forget how safety conscious. Yeah, I went to Phoenix last week. I guess it was last week, not this past week, but the week before, and they have a bunch of them there. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Look, as soon as I can trust it, which would probably be never. I don't know. Should be interesting.
I got asked by one of our young people a couple of weeks ago, would I? And I was genuinely like, look, not even if I'm dead, am I trusting?
Don't put my casket in a Waymo and tote me around.
Do you guys have wheelie bins? Do you know what a wheelie bin is for your rubbish? For your garbage.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I'm going in the wheelie bin before I'm going in the automated car.
We'll drag him by a horse in a wheelie bin. That's what
exactly.
Yeah.
Be fine. Our
Be fine.
foxes are pretty adept. They'd probably 6 of them would drag me off. We had a PAX visit a few weeks ago, and a fox tried to climb in the boot of my car whilst I'd left it open, and he's going, "Holy crap, a fox!" And I was just like, "Dude, they are everywhere."
Are they really?
Oh, they're far too secure in themselves. Yeah.
If only you were able to carry a gun and eliminate a few.
Do you know what though? That would be my great pleasure. I'd be like, "Hello, Mr. Fox.
Hey, buddy.
I
Here's
know,
some cereal." No, I got you.
That's one of the places in life where I'm kind of like, there was points when the stewardship of the world turns around to me and says, "There's a pest. That pest must be removed." End of story. Anyway, we'll get into trouble for that. So, okay, that was good to know. Some teaching.
Yeah.
I think that would be very nice and beneficial. And hopefully we'll see you in the near future.
It'll happen. I don't know yet exactly when, but it'll happen. It's going to happen in the next year or so.
Nice.
Also, Power Clean did promise a visit over as well at some point. So we've just please.
You can only believe about 38% of what that guy says, though. So, no, I'm just kidding. One of the most. If he says it, man, it's going to happen. He's a get it done guy. So.
Does he still have like air miles from serving? You know, will he get to come over in a C-130 or something?
I'm gonna guess no, but you know what? I couldn't say for sure.
He'll have that F3 logo put on some plane somehow when you're flying.
I'm not sure anyone uses C-130s anymore for military transport, but
couldn't tell you. Yeah, couldn't tell you.
So we talked first F so far. The next one in the triangle, the Daily Red Triangle, is second F. So when you do visit the UK next year, as you're alluding to now, what would be on your second F plans with the PAX and the guys over here?
Well, naturally, you'd want to hang out with as many guys as you possibly could. So we'd have to have a full UK convergence. Every man, even the haters, all haters are welcome. Everybody's invited, and they can all come and hang out. I would love that. And I guess I don't really know. Is hot chocolate a thing over there?
It is a thing.
Yeah, for like children probably or something. That's how it is here.
Grown-ups. Grown-ups.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, good.
We've got real beverages as well, though. You know.
I don't drink any of those, so
no, I don't either.
Yeah, no coffee, no alcohol, no nothing. I'm boring like that. So I'll have some hot chocolate, and I imagine I'd have to have some proper fish and chips, that sort of a thing, right? You'd have to take me somewhere for some absolutely authentic local cuisine. So
UK cuisine is very interesting, mind you. Most places now are so diverse with the use of Uber and the fact you can get everything delivered.
No, we have to go and sit. I want to go to a proper UK pub, right? An English pub, and go and experience like a real old school, wood on the walls kind of a place.
Sticky floors.
There you go. Yeah.
Sticky floors. You need
for any number
3
of
people
reasons.
Sitting in there with only 4 teeth. It's the proper.
Yes. That's where we want to go.
They look like they've been catching dragons,
that's right.
But they've just been sitting there.
They've just been sitting there. And no Harry Potter anything. Just
no,
to be clear.
Agreed. Yeah. So I think the American term was spit and sawdust, if I remember right, for those bars where you've got sick and stuff on the floor. We don't have sawdust in the UK, so it's just sticky floors.
Vinyl sticky floors.
Vinyl sticky
floors. Lovely, yeah.
The good news for pubs is there's so many more places now, alcohol-free places, where you can go in and you can get decent options.
There you go.
I mean, I stopped drinking this Christmas. I think it'll be 4 whole years I quit properly.
Hey.
I used to, and then I realized I needed to stop for a whole host of reasons. And it's funny, one of our AOs is on its Christmas night out tonight, and I went for their beatdown yesterday I went for the beatdown, but mainly for the fellowship. And I said to them, "How's it going?" And a couple of them said, "I don't know when to stop tomorrow night." And I said, I don't envy that. But now, having resolved to not again, it's so much easier. And things like Guinness Zero, and
it is funny. I was gonna say it is funny that you got guys they think that they can like, oh well, I'll do it on this occasion and not that one, and then and they make up a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's often easier to be 100% committed than it is to be 98% committed. And guys don't think that's true, and so they commit like, I'll commit like 80%. You're like, man, you're just complicating your life. Like, because you really don't know which time is the 80, which time's the 20. Just go all in, right? So I think that's good that you did
It's definitely better, and it's slightly cheaper too.
that.
Slightly cheaper in itself. Okay, some nice food,
Yeah.
lots of fellowship, and not near the coast because otherwise the seagulls might swoop down and steal your fish and chips. But they're pretty aggressive.
Noted.
That's what happens when you empty the seas of all of the fish. They come inland for the produce.
That makes sense. So what we need to do is take our fish and chips out to sea and throw it in and get the seagulls to leave. Is that what?
Leave us alone. Yeah, no, it's good. It's not that bad, but okay. So first F, second F.
Yeah.
What about third F? Have you got any thoughts about anything you'd be interested to see or look at third F in the UK?
I mean, certainly we could go visit old cathedrals and things like that. I went to France once for work and I stayed in a hotel, and I was like, it was kind of hard to wrap my head around the fact that the hotel I was staying in was older than my country, And I was like, it's very interesting. So it'd be interesting to see some history and things like that. But my understanding is kind of third F's a little different over there, right? Especially here I am, in the south of the United States of America. It's what we call the Bible Belt, right? And so it is, and very evangelical, if you're familiar with that term, kind of a very modern, worship style and things like that. And so it's very different here from what I understand as it is over there. In fact, my understanding is that faith is just kind of not really much of in terms of religion, not much of a thing at all in the UK. Is that accurate? Man, now Shredder, I know you're a pastor, right? But so you're kind of swimming against the grain on that, I guess. But is that the prevailing, overall thing kind of, or am I remembering that wrong?
I'll speak for my region and say, yes, certainly so. I'm not aware of anyone with any religious interests whatsoever within all of the packs in the region. And we're talking 50, 60.
Mm-hmm.
We have had a couple of Muslim guys, but again, they weren't strict.
Yeah.
You post, but yeah, it's not the regular done or spoken thing to talk about religion, just because I don't think people are religious. And I would say if you had to badge it, generalize it, it would be atheistic region, just to simplify it.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I have quite a take on it, like you say, in terms of work-wise. As a pastor in the evangelical church, I have kind of quite clear views. And it's interesting, even today, I was chatting to a Pax who was using some quite colourful language, and we were chatting about something. And then he said to me, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Do you not know?" And he went, "No." And I said, "I'm a pastor." And then he blasphemed, and then he went, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I said, "Just calm yourself." It is a weird thing because we've had a history of overly
we have
aggressive.
three, or we the country?
We the country. We had a history of overly aggressive religious behavior, and we're struggling with that right now, I think, because we did Valor a few weeks ago, and as part of the Valor event, we not only carrying all of these burdens of woe and trees and things that we were carrying, but we had a Union Jack. Now I've got the spare Union Jack in the drawer. Interestingly, when I spoke to the awesome gents that do F3 near me, the map, I was chatting with them when I got admin to do the book, and I've done a few changes. And even though it's not any time soon, I noticed there was no function to have England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland because it's not in the system. So I wrote to them and said, "Dear
Gentlemen.
dudes,
They're
this
like,
isn't
where?
there."
We ain't never heard of that.
Right? I know. This isn't there. And I said, because when we plant Wales, I mean, we've been having a brief chat with an American who's Scottish, but he's American, but he's got a brother in Scotland, and he's a little interested, but not ready. That's obvious. But it's not there. And then when they looked, they said, it's not even in the coding. So it's not us. It's not in the coding we've used for the map. So if you go in and you look at our whole map system, it doesn't currently have the capacity to have Wales, Scotland, or Northern Ireland. And I pointed out to some of our packs early on in the start, because I lived in Wales for 14 years and worked there in mission work. And I said, when we plant Wales, they're not going to have Union Jacks up because they're going to have the Welsh dragon, or they will not plant flag and nation flag because they're Welsh and fiercely and rightly proud of it. Same with the Scots. They ain't gonna have a Union Jack. But we've got this kind of nationalistic thing coming up. Now, I was listening to a podcast with Gareth Southgate, an ex-England manager, and he was talking about some of the MAGA stuff that you guys deal with. And he said they did a polling of a fear of white American men of how many were afraid of becoming the non-majority ethnicity in America. And Gareth Southgate and these guys in this politics podcast said around 40% of people polled said they were concerned about that. And then they did the same thing in the UK, and the numbers were polling at nearly twice that, which is quite shocking. And there's a lot of stuff going on about, there's something happening called the quiet revival at the moment, where as much as 1 to 2 million people are starting to go to places of worship, not just churches, but mosques and other places of worship, because they're feeling stirred. And some people say that they think God is stirring people up. This is one of the things I get told a lot. I have people in my church who've just turned up, and if you ask them why, they go, I don't know. But I feel like I need to find out something. And we have that, and then we have, like Flea's rightly said, people don't necessarily want to talk about it as not as public. And then you've got up here this thing where quite a few right people, and that's where you're come to the center, that hold the center, the pendulum, and that the andism instead of the orism is so powerful and actually medicinal potentially for culture, because people are being kind of, which edge are we in? And actually we need to get them back to the middle. You know, not that we, like you say, not that we all agree, but we're holding on to what matters.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are right. It's we're a strange little island.
Well, I think that, this is part of the beauty of America, and I think it's part of the beauty of certainly my personal theology, but also I just think it's the beauty of what stirs in the hearts of a man, and that is that, freedom, liberty, those things they're self-evident, right? You can feel it. You know that no one likes to be forced. No one wants to be forced to do anything. Any child, of any age up until, 10, heck, even teenagers, right? Whatever, right? But forcing someone to do something is rarely the right choice. And I mean, with a state-sponsored, state enforced, religion for however many, was it centuries? I mean, it was forever, right?
Centuries.
It was a long time. Yeah. And, I think you've got some generational, stuff still lingering on, but I'm very interested about this. You said quiet revival. Because I would say we're seeing something similar over here as well. I think that there's a much greater interest, although I don't know if it does it over there, but man, we'll find a reason to be separated and divided over anything around here. Man, we just love it. We just love to fight. Americans, I guess, we just love to fight. And so when you have this, these folks that are starting to have interest in some sort of faith and or God and start paying attention to those things, of course, then, right on the heels of that, you've got a lot of people saying, how stupid that is, and, let's fight about it or whatever. But I think that there's there's a stirring, there's something happening right out there for sure. Yeah. So when I get over there and we talk about Third F, I think we'll have these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
I think we'll sit with the guys and be like, well, what is it that you believe that's bigger than you? What do you feel like you can submit yourself to? What are the guiding principles of your life? And it can't just be like, be nice. Well, that had to come from somewhere, man. That didn't come from you. Right. Because,
right.
My nature is not be nice. My nature is, step on others and, take their stuff. And, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
very
if you've got
interesting.
The idea of the tribes and thinking back to people watching your six, it's still in the sense, so you have a corporate power, so you have the ability to defend one another. I get that. Interesting place wise, if you end up coming to where we are in the brook, I didn't get to do this with Flea, but around 120 yards from where we plant the flags, we have something called the tumult, and we've only been there once or twice. It's just a mound that's in the middle of the park. But the Romans had a little watchtower on it because it was part of one of the Roman roads between London, central London, and Chichester down on the coast. So when we did our first look around, I took the packs on a ruck, and we played, and obviously because you want to kind of play around with these areas, we bear crawled up. This is a juxtaposition of cultures. I had them bear crawling in teams up this 2,000-year-old Roman mound, whilst they had beer pong cups full of water that they mustn't spill. And so we were bear crawl beer pong gaming on this piece of history that's they reckon is 2,000 years old. And after the Romans left, then ancient people after them may have then dug in this mound and put bones in it, used it as a burial mound.
You should have buried your beer pong cups and then seen like 2,000 years from now, so we can unearth that and be like, this is very strange.
It is.
Their bones were much more brittle back then.
They're
And
less
red in color. It's very strange.
They're less red. Well, there's lots to look forward to there, and it will be great to see in whatever form we can do, and I'm sure we can get people together. People will enjoy that. Secret questions here, Flea. Is that right? We're not doing that now.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed being an avid watcher of the Whetstone podcast. The question is, are there any contractually obligated items of clothing that we need to mention on this podcast as you're the guest?
Technically, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
What socks are you wearing right now?
I haven't any socks on. But if I was wearing socks, I can assure you they would be mud gear socks. I can assure you.
Yeah.
Because
life's,
as we all know,
life's too short to wear crappy socks.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're good.
Some of those links, though.
No matter how, hey, there we go. Perfect.
You've got some.
Yeah, I got
perfect.
some. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I should have got you to bring me some back, actually, when you went last time. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
I should have brought an order in with Huck. What was I thinking? That was silly.
I was going to ask him to bring like 700 car stickers.
You could have done that.
We could dish them out to all the packs in the UK,
right.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to have those? Is that some sort of political affiliation? They won't arrest you for having those, right?
I've got one on mine.
I'm just joking.
Yeah. You allowed? You got an F3 car sticker on your?
Yeah.
Have you?
I do, yeah.
I mean, this is my main my main branding at the moment. Although I'm about to do a Christmas order for some Brooke clothes.
Well, we're going to get you guys squared away and find some retail, folks there and get you guys squared away so you guys can start ordering gear, because enough's enough. Yeah.
It would be cool. It is a bit sort of envying, and you're sitting there and you're listening to it and you're thinking and doing iron packs as well. I was looking at bits and bobs going, oh, that looks good. And even today my son was looking at a science show and he said to me, Dad, I'd like to do that. And it was epic. And it was $30 free shipping all over US. And then when I was looking at the UK shipping, I was like, son, the shipping's nearly as much as the thing. Just for you to fill a balloon up with your own farts or something.
Science.
Science, right? Yeah. His ears must be burning. I know this is going to be going on Wednesday. I've just had some form of message from Huck right now on my phone.
He can tell. He can sense it. Yeah,
it's in his beard, isn't it? It's got some form of. He's got a
whole. He's got a little
talking about me.
Well, he's got like little people who live in there. They're like little elves. They live in there, and they actually are the ones who run F3.
He could actually have that kind of F3 Father Christmas vibe. This is head of culture.
Yeah,
Father Christmas.
He's kind of an edgy Father Christmas.
I got a question. Just again, unplanned question. How is the F3 logo waxing going?
Oh, that's a great question. I've been bringing it up. I never agreed to do it. So I told him, you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm not doing it. And ironically, every time I say something about, hey, don't we have an obligation to fulfill? Everyone yells at me and tells me, you're not even doing it. So why don't you shut up? So I've just sort of stayed out of it. We did meet the goal, so we are supposed to be doing it. I'll send you a video that Huckleberry sent me of a fake. It's an AI of him getting it shaved in his chest. It's very dumb.
I totally missed that. Honestly, I missed that. Was that to do with the Accelerate campaign?
Yeah, we raised we met the goal, and so the F3 SLT was supposed to get their chests waxed. The F3 logo in the hair on their chest was supposed to be waxed in there, and none of those guys have done it.
That AI picture of him, where that's partly where he complained about us talking about the Hoff, was when I saw that AI picture of him where he was sort of manly chested out. He looked a bit like a cross between. It looked like, I think I said to him, "Dude, you look like Father Christmas and David Hasselhoff had a child," you know. Um, and he said it was not me; it was some sick packs. As AI'd me.
Yeah,
We'll pin him down
that's
on
good.
Thursday at the factory. We'll pin him down and
There you go.
make sure he gets it done.
And wax him. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. Good.
If I get hold of him in London, I'm sure I could take him to some places where he can get it done. You know, maybe we'll get tattoos or something. I've
Hey,
been saying.
now you're talking about some stuff there. That's good.
I've
Yeah.
been saying about getting a tattoo for at least a year since I turned 50.
All right.
Anyway, should we move on to part two? Part two. Right, part two. Quick re-warmer-rama. I
Yes.
managed to say that with my teeth in. This is your chance to, once and for all, decide whether this is a Christmas film or it's not a Christmas film.
Got it.
So we're gonna.
This
we're
is the
gonna give you some-
definitive answers.
This is
This is
you
the
know,
truth, Pax. So
right.
listen up.
I don't know who goes on in America to do film reviews, but all of our top ones, they're going to be listening in and going, now we know. And the first one is Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2.
Now, Die Hard 1, I'm assuming we all recognize is 100% a Christmas movie.
Well, otherwise we need testing.
That's right. So, Die Hard 2, also a Christmas movie, yes.
The correct answer as far as I'm concerned.
Next one, Gremlins.
Yeah, of course. What's his name? The gremlin. The Mogwai. Gizmo, thank you. Yep. Gizmo wore a Santa hat in the movie. Come on, guys. Christmas movie. Duh.
And they barbecued a Father Christmas, didn't they?
Indeed.
In the backstory.
Yes. Yep.
Makes it a Christmas
Boom.
movie.
Christmas.
Okay. Batman Returns.
Now, which one was that one? I got to think on that. Okay,
Second,
so
Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman.
Woman.
Danny DeVito, Penguin.
Think on that one. It's been a long time since I've seen that one. I do recall Christmas lights in the movie. Christmas movie.
Okay.
I might be making.
I'm
that
not
up,
sure
though.
either.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say it was, but
No,
I'm not the
did
judge
it happen
here.
at Christmas time, Flea? I don't
There's
know.
snow. I mean, there's snow.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
you know,
that
you
doesn't
guys
matter.
get snow all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's certainly in the north half
Some.
in winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You know what?
Next one.
We're gonna back up on that one. Let me back up on that one. I'm gonna say Batman Returns. Maybe not. Maybe not a Christmas movie. Maybe a winter movie. Possibly a winter movie. Not a Christmas movie.
Okay. Lethal Weapon.
A Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon. Let's see. Man, you guys are killing me on this. I'm gonna say Lethal Weapon. I've got to see here. When was this setting?
Are you Googling these?
Yeah,
Helmet.
just this one. Just this one. It doesn't give me anything. Nothing. I don't
As
remember.
long as you're not asking ChatGTP.
No, I don't ask him anything.
I know.
Let's see here. It says there was a desert scene. No, you know what? It's in Los Angeles. And I say, like, nothing in Los Angeles counts as anything good. So
They don't
Yeah.
have seasons, right?
that's right. So there's no Christmas there.
Trading Places.
Now, that is a Christmas movie. That is a Christmas movie. I do remember that. Yeah, that's the
I'd
Eddie
say it's a
Murphy,
Christmas movie.
right? Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Christmas movie.
Good film.
Classic for this one is The Great Escape.
Didn't see it. Probably shouldn't admit that.
No,
Didn't see
that's
it.
fine.
Don't have
That's
any
fine.
idea.
Got
I
every
will say
film,
it's,
but
it's not a Christmas movie. I don't really know, though. I haven't seen it.
bit of
Maybe once.
context on it is it is normally aired on typically a Christmas Day afternoon in the UK. It always used to
Did
be when
you
I was
guys-
younger.
Because you have kind of networks, but also area stuff, didn't you? So in America, so here in the UK with things like the BBC and ITV, every Christmas Eve on Childhood they used to show The Wizard of Oz, and it was on every Christmas Eve, and I never understood why. Because
It's not a
you know
Christmas
maybe
movie.
it was to terrify you to go to sleep.
Probably. It was like, or
But
the
yeah,
monkeys will
there's
come
a-
and get you, Shredder.
I know.
Be a good boy.
Yes. I don't want to have a bath. I might melt. Okay. Next one then. Rocky
All right.
4.
Let's see. Rocky 4 was the one with the Russian.
Yeah.
Communists do not believe in Christmas. No, it's not a Christmas.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, you know what? Let me be more clear there, Shredder. In America, it might be a Christmas movie, but to the communists, not a Christmas movie.
Do you know what? I've been a good boy here. I never said anything then about not to you, but all sorts of thoughts come around my head. Then we'll restrain them.
All right.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Next one, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Is that an offer or was it a movie?
Could be both.
Didn't see it.
Good
Didn't see
night.
it. Didn't see it. And that's it. Shredder's gone. Didn't see that one either. Long Kiss Goodnight did not see.
I would say no, personally. I'm not.
Fair enough.
I would
Yeah,
say
I
it's
don't know
a
that.
very good action film set in winter. Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson.
See, but
She plays
just because it
a-
happens in winter doesn't mean that it's a Christmas movie. People can't be equating these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you hear it here, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, then fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we're going to go with this one then. Tango
All right.
and Cash.
See, Tango and Cash again, set in Los Angeles, so it can't be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just write this down. No Christmas in LA. To be fair, I've watched every season of Bosch, and I don't think there is a single moment of Christmas in it too. So maybe that's playing out.
See, tell me I'm wrong.
And final one on the list.
Final, yes.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
No, I mean, that's clearly a Christmas movie. It's the whole premise, isn't it? Yeah, Get Home for Christmas. In fact, that might be a double Christmas. That might be the ultimate Christmas movie. Could be.
Would that be your ultimate Christmas movie?
I'd have to think about that. I'm a big fan of the Grinch, so it's kind of a tough one. Just kidding, I don't care.
The Grinch. I don't think the Grinch translates in the UK. Dr. Seuss is quite low.
Really?
We had more things like Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
Roald Dahl's got some great stories, also fairly depressing at times. So I think the Grinch perhaps was a bit too upbeat.
Yeah, you wanted like the little prince who sat sadly through what would have been Christmas if his mother loved him or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prince and the paupers and the things that. Interestingly, going back to something you said earlier about the history of the church, it reminded me when you said that there were around 250 years where you weren't allowed to go to university unless you belonged to the Church of England.
Is that right?
From the time it was from the time of the dissenting from Catholicism up until the mid 1850s.
Boy, that's...
Poor Baptists like me, you had to pretend to be Church of England
so that you could go to university.
To get educated. Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I mean, that's one way to keep the people down in it, Flea.
Right?
Yeah.
And we wonder why people have got issues.
I mean, just saying.
Yes.
Sorry, but we can do better than that. Okay.
Yeah.
That wraps that section up.
Oh, thank goodness, because I don't know if I was going to get any better. I think I was going downhill there.
No, you're good.
So let's talk about now development of packs. What would you say are the most important steps that men can take to move from being a survivor to being a true servant to other men?
So for packs who aren't familiar, Dredd invented something called the Sur Continuum. That is Sur, S-U-R. So on one end you have survivors, and on the other hand you have Sur, S-E-R, which is the servants. And a guy who's just kind of, just doing his best to stay alive. Just get through the day. I mean, we're talking, it could be anything from like chronically homeless to, living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get his, food in his mouth and maybe trying to feed his family if he's lucky. Maybe he doesn't have a family. Probably divorced or maybe, whatever, right? So those guys are on one end. And unfortunately, the survivors don't often move, right out of total survivordom. Every once in a while, it can happen. But generally speaking, the guys who are true survivors, there's something that happened in their lives that kind of keeps them on that end of the spectrum. And so it's important for those of us who are not in that end of the spectrum, but are trying ever more diligently to become servants, to always be aware so we can take care of those guys, right? So we can protect and feed and help and house those people. Now, the ones that we get concerned about, because on the other end, then there's the servants. And some of those guys, man, it doesn't seem to matter what happens, right? They're always going to do well. They're a little like, I think I would call Dredd a servant. I try to think that I'm a servant. Drop me anywhere pretty much in the English-speaking world, Flea, and I'll figure it out, right? I'll be okay, right? Because I'll figure out how to serve other men. I'll figure out how to provide value to my community and to the people, around me. And I'll be gainfully employed, and it'll be fine. I'm not worried one bit. And so the in the middle, though, are guys who kind of do a lot of this, right? And sometimes maybe they're leaning a little more survivor. Sometimes maybe they're leaning a little more servant. And so the trick and the goal that we would have is to try and figure out, how do we get these guys in the middle to move themselves closer and further, over to this end of survivor, or away from survivor and into servantdom. And unfortunately, most men really struggle to forget about themselves. They struggle to forget that they're not the center of the universe. That's part of why we have a third F in the first place, right? That's to say, you got to believe in something bigger than you, man. You can't be the high moral authority. You can't be the one, making all the rules, because then you're going to make whatever rules you want. And however the wind blows and whatever you're feeling that day is going to be how you do it. And that's not going to serve anybody. So I think for a man to really become a servant, he's got to figure out his purpose. Like, he's really got to lean, in on this idea of personal purpose and figure out what it is that he's for. A man who doesn't have purpose is a dangerous man, right? Now, some guys may, if nothing else, they can agree on a universal purpose, right? Which is to be a servant, is to become, a servant to their fellow man, and to help and raise and lift them, right? And so those guys that I think really figure out what their role is in that greater overarching, take care of the human family kind of a mission, those guys that figure out what they're for, what they are supposed to do, are the ones who I think will move the furthest and the fastest into servantdom and away from survivorship, if that makes sense. Look at him writing like either that or he fell asleep. Either way, I don't know which it is.
I'm writing.
I'm just distracted by one of my dogs is going nuts.
Was that? I wondered if that was yours.
I don't know if you can hear it. It is my dog. But thank God you can mute mics when not talking automatically on Riverside. It's such a blessing. That feature is like.
And another reason why British men aren't allowed guns.
Yeah,
there would be less dogs, lots.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I valued in listening to the Whetstone is where it was talked about the fact that there's many types of leader, but you can't be a leader if you're not a servant. And if we're trying to help people find their personal purpose, I mean, I know sometimes poor Plagoo is basically like a little somewhere between a guinea pig and a marionette.
I feel bad sometimes because I watched Dredd and I just talking. It's like, oh, the hour's over. Sorry, man, we didn't let you say anything.
But he's a good guinea pig in that sense, and he's getting so much out of it.
Man. Yeah,
I just helping men find their personal purpose, figure it out, to move them.
But, you said that's one of the things and I don't know if this is a term that is in the UK a lot or not, but you hear it a lot over here. These people who claim to be, some kind of leadership gurus or whatever talk about servant leadership. Oh, well, you've got to practice servant leadership. And I actually think that's redundant. Like you may as well be saying servanthood, like it's because really, if you are really seeking to be a leader of men, then that's all you are doing all the time, is figuring out how to be of greater service to them and to the cause in which we are all, dedicated, right? To which we're all dedicated. So, so it is funny sometimes to think about these guys who say like, oh, you got to be a servant leader. Like, I don't know, doesn't make any sense, right? Like, oh, it's got to be a blue thing. Really? Thank you. It's very insightful.
I mean, you're in a position where, obviously you talked about getting the salary doubled. Nobody's employed.
Well, one guy.
Well, nobody else is employed.
No. But
that's a necessity. I get that. And that is not a dig. One of the things I've heard a few times recently is people say to me, are you doing too many things? Are you doing too much? And there's an interesting parallel here that's just come into my head is, you're queuing a BD. One of the things I've noticed I tend to say quite often in the last 15 minutes of the BD is empty your tank. Get it all out. Sit there going, I had 100% and I gave 60. Empty it. When I responded to people talking about this thing where they're saying, are you doing too much? I look at what the Apostle Paul talked about, where he talks about being poured out like an offering, to being poured out in terms of who you are and what you have, and you empty it because you don't actually do the filling anyway. And unless you empty, you can't refill. And so, this week, today with the Father Fitmas, I'd intended to make mincemeat brownies, and I got some jib for them off one of our podcast guests recently. And the only point I relented was on Friday when my M said to me, "You're too busy. You've done too much. You're not making brownies. You've got a freezer full of frozen cookies. Take the cookies." And I went, "Yes, boss," because I'd listened. So, but a lot of the time when you empty yourself out, that's what you do as a servant, because what's the point? You wouldn't do it physically in a workout and saying, I kept 40% just in case. So if you're serving in this, surely you empty yourself out. Not burn yourself out, but empty yourself out and then trust.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And go ahead, Flea. You were going to say something there.
I was going to say, but not to the detriment of your concentrica. And,
Right.
If what you're doing effectively in your Sherlocking and whetstone role as a cue and within that second F environment, don't damage what's at the middle in that M relationship or your 2.0 relationship. Because the risk is if you focus on the outside and doing that servant role, you do not want that central bit to be impacted.
But if you're living third and you're serving your concentrica, so I agree. So I need to, sometimes there's points when I've got something to do for F3 and one of my kids is looking at me. I need to be careful what I'm doing at that point. But I also don't see in general, in terms of being a servant, a dissonance between the two things. You know this. I mean, I know your girls are older now, but you will have spent so many years doing so many things. I'd love to know what tunes you play when you're doing the post dinner cleanup in the evening. I told you I listened, but
mostly stuff that I hate. But that's not important.
Taylor Swift. I bet you know all the lyrics.
Oh my gosh, no! They're really into K-pop, Korean pop music.
Are they?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's very popular.
Oh,
it's very popular.
Just kill me. I hope she never hears this, but well.
I guess it's just that sense of, you are right, Flea, it's about, you shouldn't be to the detriment of it, but sometimes I don't see the difference. Serving is serving,
Well, serving is serving, but you do have priorities in your serving, right? And Flea is right. You cannot, if I am serving you guys, more than I'm serving my wife, then I'll have you guys around and I won't have her. And unfortunately, that makes a pretty miserable me. I think that the difference is, I really liked what you said about pouring yourself out versus burning yourself out, right? If something is burnt, then it's gone. It cannot be refilled, right? And it's over, right? But if it's just poured out, then you can refill it. And I think for me, guys ask me a lot, and I don't say it as a point of pride or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. But, they ask me all the time, like, man, how do you, because I have a full-time job, right? And I don't cheat my employer. I work hard and make sure I get things done for them. I have a lot of church service and responsibilities that I hold and do there, the Nantan of the nation, plus, family and, and whatever else, right? I do local stuff with my community and my packs here and things. It's like, man, how do you get everything done? And I think the fact is that I've learned, because I was well mentored, how to multiply myself. Like, I tell guys all the time, I'm like, I think you'd be surprised how little I actually do. And they're like, no, you're everywhere. You do everything. No, I think you'd be shocked, because like, as your example, right? You want mincemeat brownies? First of all, I don't even need to do what that is. And it sounds disgusting, but I'm sure they're delicious. I have no idea what mincemeat is, but it does not sound good. But you want those? Great. You can make them if you want, right? But if you're doing that on top of everything else, then guess what? Now maybe you're burning yourself out. But instead, if you said, man, you called a guy and you said, I'm so excited for tomorrow. And or for later this week when we're all together at the at the AO and we're going to be hanging out and stuff like that. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking how cool, like how good it would be to have mincemeat brownies. But I got to be honest, I haven't had time to make anything like that. You don't make mincemeat brownies, do you? Right? And then he goes, well, I've been known to a time or two. Oh yeah, but you wouldn't have time before Thursday, would you? I could probably figure it out. Well, I mean, but that's not something you'd want to take on as a. Right? You just ask him all the questions. And then pretty soon he's like, I'd love to make mincemeat brownies. And you go, the packs are going to love you. See, I knew we were going to make you a hero. You're going to be the hero of Thursday, mincemeat brownie day, baby. Right? And then pretty soon the guy's excited to do it. And so they're like, well, how did you get mincemeat brownies here? I didn't. I figured out how to get a guy to, it's, if you've not read Tom Sawyer, right? So UK packs and or US packs who haven't read Tom Sawyer, the old, the old painting the fence, right? Huck Finn painting the fence, man. He figures it out.
Just making a note that I need to make mincemeat brownies for you if you come over.
No, you just have to have them made, Shredder. You don't need to make them.
I don't think anybody else in the UK probably makes mincemeat brownies. Most
yeah, because they sound disgusting. That's why. And I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
You don't know.
I don't know.
No, honestly, look.
Yeah.
We could have done real food, fake food, couldn't we? But no, it's let's move on. Yeah, next question. Right. So what are you most excited about for the next years in F3 then?
So when I took over as Nantan, I committed to 5 years. I said I'll do it for 5 years. And unless it takes less time, and then I'll do it for less time, I guess. But if it takes longer, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't take longer. But there are certain things that I want to make sure we absolutely have locked up. And so the things I'm most excited for are kind of this ironclad legacy position in these kind of 3 areas that we've been talking about. One is in our structure, and we're kind of there, right? Having the communication and reporting structure solid, so that men are ministered to, are taken care of locally with proximity, right? Where not one guy is trying to take care of too many guys or help too many guys, right? But there's this constant teaching and learning flow up and down, right? And we're getting there. We're getting there. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And PowerClean is building it's a pretty big undertaking to get enough men to start serving. And then once it's rolling, guys will fill in, and I think it'll work. But it's a pretty big undertaking to fill it all at once. And then the second place that I really think we're going to have a wonderful legacy position is in our technology. Right. There are some great guys out there working on some amazing technology right now. And for us to be able to scale at the speed and to the size that we're going to need, we've got to figure out our technology. I'd say we're probably 60% of the way ish. Right. And that's just because Slack is a good tool and it's free right now. I fear that it's not going to be for a long time, that could go away. And if it did, we're kind of in trouble. Right. So we want to build something that will be uniquely ours, that we can build off of, and that we can use to track workouts, to communicate with one another, to, all the things that we kind of have grown to do, but we've got to be able to do it and have it be ours, and not reliant on the whims of other people. So we're going to get ourselves a rock solid legacy position with regard to our structure, with regard to our technology, and then ultimately what's coming. I'm not supposed to tell you, right? But we're working on things to make sure that we have a rock solid legacy position financially, right? We don't want to have to raise funds the same way that we do now. Part of that was reducing a lot of the overhead and things that were sort of jammed up inside of F3, reduced expenses by about 60% when it took over. We just hacked a lot of stuff out of the budget, right? So we're less than half of what we were budget wise, which is big. Right. That was a big undertaking to get that done, unearth some things. And as you both know, it made some people very, very unhappy. They're still very unhappy, and they probably don't have nice things to say about me. To which I often say, well, much cooler people have said much worse things. So I don't really care. Like, I'm fine. I'll manage somehow. Right. But I get it, and anytime you upset the apple cart, anytime you disrupt the status quo, that's the nature of things. You're going to make some people unhappy. Hopefully they can catch the vision of what's going on, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. Either way, it's not really important to me, outside of the fact that I wish that they could come alongside and fight the fight that we're trying to fight to capture the hearts of men. Right. They're doing it maybe in a different way, and that's okay, right? And that's not just our guys or whatever either. I mean, there's guys outside of our organization who come to us all the time saying they'd like to partner, they'd like to do this, they'd like to do that. And I have to just say, hey, I appreciate what you're saying. I think you should keep building what you're building. But we can't be part of it because our mission is clear. And what you're doing is, while it is near it, it might be able to see our mission from where you're sitting, right? Right. But it's not the mission. And so we're not going to do it. So I'm really excited about those kind of 3 big pillars being set in place so that we become a legacy organization. The other things I'm excited about is my eventual appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast. I keep speaking it into existence, baby. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. Someone's going to know somebody. It's going to happen. And that is when we really, the door's going to get kind of blown off this deal. and whether it's him exactly or not, but that sort of the greater national and international awareness of F3 is something I'm super excited about as well. I tell this story all the time, and I've told it before. In fact, I told it recently. I can't remember when, but there was it was, I don't know, now it's probably been 7-8 years ago or something, but I have this tendency to stop for folks when I see them, broken down on the side of the road. So I pull over and I jump out of the car and I go walking back to this, this lady's car, and she, I see in there, it looks like, 3 generations, right? It's a mom, like middle-aged woman, her mom, and then clearly, probably her daughter in the back, right? So it's these 3 ladies, and I'm not a big guy particularly, but I'm not a small guy. I could be anybody, right? And I pull over my pickup truck, and I'm, they're broken down the side of the road, and I jump out and I go back to walk, to see if they need help. And the lady hops out and she goes, "Oh, thank goodness. I saw your F3 sticker and I knew I would be safe and I knew that you would help." And I said to myself, that's it. That's the answer, right? That's the answer. Every single person who sees this logo, right? That kind of association is what I dream of for them, to know that we are the men who will come and you will be safe and we will help, right? No matter what it is, no matter what time of day, no matter what's happening, right? If a guy jumps out and he has an F3 logo on his chest, you can just about be 100% sure, right, that he's going to take care of whatever's the problem, right? And that's the kind of thing that I'm excited about, because I think that's what's coming. I think that's where we're headed, right? Is they go, that's the organization that made my dad a better man, right? That's the organization that lifted my granddad, and made his spirits high again, like recaptured his manhood, right? That's what I'm excited about, because that's coming. That's coming. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's inevitable.
I'm scared with my 5-year-old girl, though. Honestly, I worry about my son, but I worry about having a daughter. You've got 3 of them.
It's the best. It's the best. People, so it's a very American thing to say, where they go, "You're probably that dad that sits on the porch with his shotgun, cleaning his shotgun when boys come to the door." Right? I don't know if you've ever heard that kind of.
No, I have a friend in the UK who did that with the shotgun.
Yeah.
He shoots, and he took a boy up to the bedroom where the safe was.
And he says, "Look at this."
Cleaned his gun and asked him. Yeah.
So I said, no, I'm not that guy, because what I did is I planted an emotional shotgun in each of their hearts when they were little. Right? And so they do all the work. I don't have to do it. I don't have to be a scary guy on the porch. Right? Because my daughter, when she saw, you were talking about, yourself and maybe even other guys, like what F3 has done for them, and, how it's changed their fatherhood and how it's changed their, their husbanding and all that kind of stuff. And my girls, my wife, guys ask me, they're like, "Man, doesn't your wife get annoyed that you go do F3 stuff all the time?" I'm like, no, my wife loves it. She loves it. It lights me on, wakes me up. I mean, I'm alive, when I'm doing it, and she wants more of that, and she knows what it's done for me, and she really wants that for other men. And so, like, my girls, it's funny because they're all the time saying, like, "How are we supposed to find a guy like Dad? Like, that's not going to be easy to do." And I'm like, exactly. Right. Right. So I put a shotgun in here, right? And then they'll shoot them. I don't have to do anything.
When you look at the movement and what we're doing with F3 globally, what gives you cause for concern, or what troubles you, or makes you worry a little bit about what we're doing or how things are going?
My initial reaction would be to say nothing. I trust the men. I trust my creator, and I believe it will all happen in the time that it's supposed to happen. But if I had to pick something, I would say that we don't get to the men that are hurting fast. We just don't get there fast enough, because we get too caught up in our own foolishness, and we get too worried about growing the right way, or the rules, or the this or the that, and blah blah. And instead we forget about the men that we're trying to save, and that we don't go fast enough. That's probably the only thing that gives me any concern.
Yeah.
I think
that's a good thing to be
concerned
about.
We had a previous guest. I think it was Guardian in one of the earlier in Cadence podcasts, who's Nantan of the UK Midlands region. I can't remember his exact phrase in Shredder, but it was like he wouldn't be happy until all men in the region were aware of what F3 can offer. Not that they turn up, not that they participate, but they know that it is there for them.
When
they're ready.
Yeah, I like that. Yep, that's a good way of putting it. For sure.
I was chatting to one of the lads today about sharing the message of the groups, because he said to me, how's the book growing? And I said it's growing well. And one PAX is coming. He's inviting his friends. We're making movement. We're getting some through social media. And he said to me, how are you using social media? And I said, well, I create a post. And actually, one of our guys, he works in advertising for a fairly big multinational company. And the last time I did a post, he said to me, can I tidy that up? And I was like, please, yes, because we are not professionals is definitely a motto. I will try and do what I can do, as faultingly as that is. And if somebody says I can do that better, I'll be like, fill your
Good.
boots.
Please.
Yeah, right. So, but that still means at the moment, until we find someone to do it, when I put a post out, it's going out Southwest London. We're talking about 250 groups. So I copy and paste each one, and it takes 3 or 4 hours because it needs doing. It needs doing.
Yeah. But man, that's quite the undertaking.
And then we'll get a media queue at some point, and then they'll start doing that. And one of our guys has said, could I make some videos of what the men are saying about being here? And I was like, oh, yes, you can.
Wish you would.
And he will. And he's still fresh.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just end up kind of modeling or exempling what might be, and then saying, I am not the one doing this because it's my bag or because I want to control it. I just want to start pushing that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then leave it to you, because it's part of the way God's made you. You're gifted for that. So crack on, and then help other people to do it too. So that's a good thing.
That's the next T-shirt, Flea. Crack on.
Crack on.
Crack on. That's gonna be.
I will say at this point, I do have a hoodie coming up, and it's not an F3 branded hoodie, but on the front it says the Brook, and it's got a number, like an American football jersey. And on the back, I actually picked the words "Up the Beaver."
Good.
So I have that coming in the next couple of weeks. Question 8 then. So what's your message to the men we haven't yet reached in the UK?
So in other words, kind of, if someone's hearing this for the first time, what would I say? Sort of a thing. Man, if you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's nothing here that will interest you. But if you've gotten to that point in your life where you're like, man, there's got to be more. I'm wearing myself out and there's got to be more. Brother, I'm here to tell you, there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And you're part of it, whether you know it or not. So let the scales fall from your eyes, Pastor, right? And wake yourself up to what's here, because this is the most amazing thing you'll ever experience.
Going to crop that one. That's not. What were we calling him, Shredder, earlier? You did these notes.
Yeah.
I got to
get back to
what
those.
Was it? It was.
I was traveling a bit.
We branded the other one. It's Schwartz Shorts.
Shorts. There you go.
Yes,
that's good.
Schwartz,
I'll take
Shorts.
it. I'll take it. Schwartz Shorts.
So we'll get some of them, man.
Yeah, perfect.
Number 9.
So, thinking of the packs that we've got in our ranks and coming through and developing, which exciting resources are coming out that can help their acceleration?
I would say probably the coolest ones are on the technology front and some of the things that are changing there, and the way that the map obviously has been a big shift. I think that keep looking for ways that new and better things get developed so that we become more and more standalone in how we run our workouts and run our communications and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a big piece of it. And pay attention to things like the Stuff Worth Trying and some of the things that the leadership development team are putting together. More webinars, more opportunities for local packs to train other local packs, and just continue to dive deep and go, hey, how can we improve ourselves? How can we get better at this? What should we be thinking about, and that kind of thing. So the biggest ones are probably the LDP stuff and technology stuff. So it's going to be an exciting couple of years, boys. Couple of years. Yep.
Let's bring it on. Well, this question 10 is upon us. I just wondered if you've got any cheeky little insights that you can give us on the book that you're writing.
Cheeky insight. It's interesting. The first cheeky insight is that it's probably going to end up being like 3 books when it's all said and done, because there's just too much stuff and they're kind of related, but not kind. We haven't figured out if it's one book. We got to figure out how to put all these weird thoughts that are out there, kind of figure out how to put them together. And we haven't quite figured that out yet. But the main one, the first one, looks like it's kind of shaping up to be almost like a guide to managing and kind of navigating your midlife crisis, right? So when you hit that spot that you're like, wait, I'm a sad clown, like, okay, now what? And yes, show up to an F3 workout. Absolutely. That's super important. And it'll bless your life, right? Absolutely. However, there's a lot that can be done, a lot to do to kind of navigate that time of life and understand it a little bit better so that you come out the other side of it less battered and bruised. Yeah.
Okay.
I know I wish I had more cheekiness in there, but nothing really that cheeky.
Wasn't that cheeky, but it's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's nice. It's nice to get a little bit of insight. You were talking even this week about writing and just the process of trying to kind of learn and think.
Maybe it won't I don't know. Like, who knows? Maybe it won't even end up a book. Maybe it'll just end up a bunch of weird notes that my kids read one day and they're like, something was wrong with Dad. We just don't know what. No, I don't know. We'll see. It's a tough process. It's weird.
Well,
it's kind of hard to do. Yep.
As long as you don't have to hide them from your mother-in-law, that's the...
Burn them on a beach somewhere. Have your wife be embarrassed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have slight concern though that when I used to write things down when I was younger, that there might be a fair bit of whiny angst in some of that too. So I might need to go back and try and find these things and go, what was I saying?
I know. Oh dear.
But isn't it a thought for other packs too that you said you recognize you've been saying some of the same things for a very long time, and I think perhaps there's many of us in the world who've had that call to action and we sit on it.
Yeah.
Or we leave it there and we just get caught up in cheap dopamine of Netflix and
or whatever the thing is.
Whatever the thing is.
Or there's, for me too, one of the things was there's some belief about yourself that really you can let go, and it's time to let go, and you should have let it go a long time ago, and you've been just hanging on to it for forever, and really it's time to just move on and not believe that thing anymore.
I think there's a benefit of the tribe nature of F3 in that though. If you have those self-limiting beliefs, sometimes some of the way to get out of it or get past it is literally being carried by your brothers, being picked up. And
yes, something we say in our COT a lot is that a burden shared is half the burden and a joy shared is twice the joy. So it's really important for us to get those things out. Let somebody help carry it. Yeah, for sure. A
couple of quick fire exercise themed questions for you.
Here we go. Yep.
Which exercise will get you the most gassed and empty?
I hate running hills. That's one. So going up a steep hill gets me every time, no matter what I do. And hand release Merkins, for whatever reason, just crushes my soul. I just got nothing. I can do burpees, and I'm pretty quick, and regular Merkins are okay. But man, something about going all the way down and letting go and then having a shove up. Yeah, something about hand release Merkins, man. It gets me every time. Yep, kills me. Hate them.
All I was going to say was I noticed we have a pack called Shh, who's French Foreign Legion. I watched him doing hand release Merkins, and he has his hands considerably lower than most packs. So most packs have got their hands up here by their collarbones, whereas has got them down here on the breastbone.
Next to it. Yeah.
And when I was preparing for Valor, and I tried to do that, I was getting more out following his technique than I was up here. Because apparently you can't push as much higher up. Don't know. Maybe next week you'll do 50.
Now we'll see. But or maybe I'll just skip them altogether. That's what I say.
Okay. So gassed and empty. What exercises are the gravy on your biscuits?
I love a bear crawl, and I love a good partner carry. Guys hate that, but I like a fireman carry or partner carry. I love it. Yeah. Usually when it comes time somebody calls those, I'll try and find the biggest guy I can. I've carried some big galumpas over the years. Yeah. Big, like,
Funky monkeys.
350, 360 kind of guys,
Crikey.
big fellas. Yeah. Yeah. Run with one of those guys on your back for 100 yards and that'll do it to you. That'll do it to you. It's good for you.
That certainly will.
Yeah.
Cool. On to that section now where you get to ask
Yes.
us any questions.
So, similar to me, you guys are asking me what do I think, what am I excited about for F3 Nation on the whole, but like, where do you see the biggest opportunity for you all there in the UK? What is kind of that next frontier, that next horizon? You're growing, you're starfishing, all that kind of stuff. So where does the vision lead now,
Do you
President?
want to say something or do you want me to say something?
Come on,
first?
Shredder. You're the president.
Go on.
All right, go ahead, Flea. Go ahead.
Go on. You go
I'll
first.
jump in. For me, it's just establishing that network now. We've got some quite established regions going on in the southeast, the Midlands, the north, and the northeast. It's now getting that little bit more geographical coverage, getting that difficult leap out now to Wales, to Scotland. That's going to take some purposeful planting and reaching out and establishing it at distance, which is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can drive to support it. It's a throw. Get over that pond to Northern Ireland and the Republic. That for me then concretes the UK and Ireland as a sector, and establish and get that critical mass behind it. And we're doing it. We're growing. If you look at the Brook for a prime example of the packs who just keep turning up. Yeah, so it's a great position that we've got. Okay,
Well, they've got a great
next?
AOQ from what I hear. So, I mean, it's probably.
Apparently. I hear too.
He did better, but it's okay. He's a work in progress.
So it's just that next step now. We're getting it, getting coverage, and I think to echo Guardian's comments about letting guys know that this is there for them. How do we get that message out? Well, that's the challenge for me now, spreading the word.
Do you guys have like podcasts and stuff like that are like national, kind of like we do here? Everybody has a podcast around here, so whatever. But like, do you have those kinds of sort of alternative methods for getting the word out on a more kind of widespread basis? Around here, every local community has its own TV station too, right? And I don't know if it's like that over there, but where like, oh, the local news will come and do a story about F3, nothing like that exists over there, does it?
No. I mean, interestingly, one of our Midlands packs was on the Midlands News this week because he's being inducted into the Soccer Hall of Fame. He's also
Pardon
blind.
me?
He's
Wow.
so he's blind and he played Paralympic soccer. That made local news. And one of the things I've tried to do around the edge of London here in the southwest is to connect with other groups. And honestly, some of them are a bit afraid because they're not free and they want to. I mean, I thought we'd really got traction with one local group. And he said, yeah, we're going to come, we're going to do this. And then after a month, I was like, so are we going to meet and chat? And he said, oh, I've decided we're going to start doing free workouts. And I was like, have you now? Okay, then. Let's see how that works. Crack on.
Everybody thinks they will.
But, I did see a local radio station this week talking to one of these local groups, and I thought we need to try and connect with them. And with things I don't understand, like Instagram, I've been trying to speak to other people a lot of people have got little groups because of heartaches, suicides. I mean, we ran with quite a hard hitting Facebook post last week because it's been Suicide Awareness Month in the UK. And I basically ran with I cartoonized a picture of me at one of the other AOs, and there was 11 of us in this picture. And I said, look, there's 11 of us in this picture. And every day, that's how many men in the UK are killing themselves under 50 every day. And I know your statistics are huge as well. And it's just an evil, it's evil. It's the Joker's worst robbery. The people think that's their best choice. And so I think trying to find those little connections to reach out is really important. And I do agree with Flea, trying to find places where you can say, look, let's help you start, i.e. one of the great things for me being an F3 now after these months is one day I might move church. I might get called to a different place. That happens. Or I might choose to move. And when I do, I know one of the things I'll be doing. I'll be putting shovels in the ground somewhere. But I see huge swathes of England as well as Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland. And there's no lights on, there's no shovels in the ground, and they're just ripe for it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it will take many of us and then some. But like for me, I mean, Yorkshire, you know, you've had to split because Leeds is really exploding, and you're looking at trying to put in something in the part way in the south, isn't it? Where you haven't got something.
Next one.
The Midlands have inspired me as well with the way we are, you know, with nearly 24 of us in the brook. Come the spring, we're going to need to be putting days on in other places. You know, I mean, I had a guy from Greenwich come with a 2-week-old, but didn't come with the 2-week-old baby. He's got a 2-week-old baby.
I've seen that before. I don't.
That'd have been great. Yeah, just carry it. It's like a coupon. And he said, I want a plant because he heard you on the Art of Manliness podcast, and he came to find us because he heard you. So I just think you just have to take every opportunity. And I think I've said to both of you, I'd rather be crucified for trying than sit comfortably and just die old and wrinkly and fat.
That's right. Yeah. Look, I'm with you. I may go down, but I'm going down swinging, baby. That's that's for sure. That is for sure. So, last question for me is, which one of you is going to eat Conor McGregor? That's what
I think Shredder's more likely.
I've got Irish family, but
there you go. Good.
You know,
that's
bless him.
Probably not going to happen, but
yeah.
You never know.
But somebody knows him, like you said about Joe Rogan.
That's it, man. Yeah,
somebody
Conor
knows
McGregor.
him.
Because I stole his line. I use it all the time. That we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. That's I use that all the time.
You know, it's just the thing is, our packs. You listen to people talk, and you see how much potential they've got and where that could lead. So, you know, we don't live too far away from. When I tried to get into fitness, one of the people I was using to do exercises was Joe Wicks. Well, I mean, he doesn't live too far away from us, and obviously he's multimillionaire and he's got his own business. If he came to F3, we'd break him. I mean, we genuinely would. I like him, but
he wouldn't be able to handle it.
He'd be exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, recently we were chatting to him because I met him recently last year. It was, I think, and he's 37, and he was saying how tired he was.
At 37,
like, come on, brother.
I know.
Let's go.
I'm 50.
So
I'm
you
best
never know.
Of my life, man.
Well, I think I'm better than I was when I was 37.
For sure. I can show you.
For sure.
Not good.
Yeah. No, I know.
Hey, I want to welcome some new packs. I'd like to welcome Wolfa, Sting, Biltong, and all his dried sausage goodness to the Brook. Welcome Jester and Screw to Lightwater, Ronnie and Cue-Ball to the Weir, Dundee, BMX, and V8 to Surrey and Sussex. Refuel, Silky, Old Man, Double Respect to the Reserve, Peaks and Unbroken to Wilberforce, and to any other new packs who might hear this in the meantime. Hey, welcome to F3. We're glad you're here.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome.
Does that work?
That was
Perfect.
great.
Yeah, spot on.
Now I have to go look up what a biltong is. That sounds terrible.
It's just, it's like, it's dried sausage.
I just want to name somebody Faulty Towers. Is that so wrong?
Yeah, we could do that.
Do that.
Basil Faulty? I just want to name him Basil. That's all. I mean,
Basil.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us any final words? Have you got any final things to say to us?
Man, I mean, I could go on for hours, right? And nobody would want to listen to that, I'm sure. But I think the only things that I would say is it's refreshing to see that the hearts of men are roughly the same no matter where you go. And that regardless of what may be happening in your country or our country or any other country in the world, when it gets right down to it, the government and the governance can do whatever they want. The church can do whatever it wants. Local people can do it. Like anybody can do whatever they want. But when it really comes down to it, what matters is the guy standing on your left and the guy standing on your right, your wife back at home and your kids, and taking care of those people and loving them more than you love yourself and doing everything you can to serve them. And that seems to be a universal trait among men. It's planted somewhere deep inside, probably before we got here, by my estimation. And that, my friends, is what bonds us together. That's what's going to hold the middle and what's going to bring us all together in a unity that the dark forces that are out there aren't going to be able to handle. It's just a fact. The decision's already been made, man. The victory is won, and we're going to be on the winning side. And I can tell you that as sure as I'm sitting here. So get after it, men. Keep fighting, and just know from the U.S. we love you. We love you. We love what you're doing, and I can't wait to come see you.
Yep. Wait to see you. It'd be awesome. Yep. Okay.
All right, boys.
That's a wrap on episode 11.
We left Flea's daughter waiting for an hour or something, or I don't know how long.
A long time. So I'm going to shoot.
And Leeds.
Yeah,
Right
you're in
center.
trouble. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
We're all in trouble.
We're all in
Thank
trouble.
you so
boys.
much for your time, Dark Helmet.
No
Thank
problem.
you very
Happy
much.
to do it. Love you guys. Meet it. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
So yeah,
Thank
big. Oh, he's gone. I was going to say
Already
big
gone.
thank you from us at the Cadence team and from Dark Helmet. But he's gone
Bye.
already. So goodbye and see you in 2 weeks.
He's off ski. See you later.